Hello everybody, Sanir, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about the latest press release from Caribou Biosciences stating that they are going to release data for CB-010 in the month of June, in the early part of June. I want to talk about all of that in this video. But before we do that, before we jump into today's video, quickly like this video, smash the like button, destroy the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. So this is a huge press release, okay? This is a huge press release because we've been waiting for this since last year, literally. So just as a reminder for all viewers, there are only 3 CRISPR companies that have actually released data for their CRISPR program, right? CRISPR Therapeutics, Editas, and NTLA. In fact, Editas was the first, I believe, or CRISPR Therapeutics, NTLA being the third one. And now we have a 4th company that dosed patient, Caribou Biosciences, as of last summer. They've dosed their first patient in the month of July and August of last year. And they've dosed a couple of more patients since then, but they never released any data for CB-010, which again is the program in question here. And let's take a look at the press release here. So Caribou Biosciences to share CB-010 initial clinical data at the upcoming EHA 2022 Hybrid Congress, right? So abstract accepted on initial clinical data from the Antler phase 1 trial of CB-010, Caribou's lead allogeneic cell therapy for patients. Right, so this is happening in June, on June 9th to 12th, so somewhere between those 3 days here, or 4 days, 3 days. And again, this is for specific CB-010. And as a reminder to everybody, CB-010, let's take a look at it, is of course their T-cell program. And they're knocking out PD-1 and they're targeting CD19. Basically, it is CAR T into Treg, so that's where CAR T cells come into play. And again, this is huge because this is literally combating against cancer cells. Obviously, you want to make your CAR T cells last longer, persist longer in the body to fight cancer cells so that you have less bad cells in the body and more good cells, right? And that's why you want to last those CAR T cells longer, right? That's literally what we're seeing here, redefining CAR T cell therapies with enhanced persistence, right? So nothing too crazy here. I mean, it's not about natural killer cells therapies. We're not even talking about that. This is just CAR T cells. We already have data for other companies that are sort of doing something similar, not specifically CRISPR. I mean, there is CRISPR Therapeutics with CTX110 that we actually do have data for their complete response, ORR percentage, and so on. And I think that would be a great metric to compare from, because of course both of those companies have the commonality of CRISPR. The difference here for CB-010 is that Caribou is using their proprietary technology, which is the Sheldon's DNA, which obviously CRISPR Therapeutics is not using. So the whole promise from Caribou's team, leadership team, from the CEO Rachel, and in the past has always been that their technology is more efficient, less off targets, and preclinical data has shown that. But as many people have said in the past, preclinical data does not often reflect to real human data. I mean, preclinical data is not on humans, so therefore you cannot assume that in this data that's going to come out this June will be better than an example than CRISPR Therapeutics based on just the preclinical data from Caribou. Obviously, we will have to wait for that data. Personally, I actually think, if you ask me, again, this is just speculation, I think this is going to come out really good. So Caribou actually, as of last year, they've kept saying that they will have data this year. They never really promised will it be in first half or second half. And technically, this is like first half, right? This is sort of for the first half. I don't know if it's like between first half and second half. So good call for them for not addressing whether it's going to be the first half or second half. I remember one of the conferences when the analysts actually asked them, and the CEO Rachel basically pushed back saying we're not ready to claim anything yet. So clearly it's been between phase 1 and phase 2, first half and second half. So that's June 9 to 12, somewhere between those dates. Secondly, I think if they didn't really have acceptable data, in my opinion, I think they could have definitely pushed back. They could have maybe released another press release. They could have said many things that may have brought up red flags. I mean, they're still obliged to disclose this data. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I would have expected them to maybe come out with saying, hey, look, we're now modifying CB-010 with potentially this, or we're introducing a new program. They could have done that. I mean, people say it may not be the norm, but they could have clearly done that just to push back on any sort of promise that people had on this program. And honestly, at this point, if you're investing in this company, you're literally investing in this technology, proprietary technology, right? I mean, that's what's putting them out there. It's not like they're doing in vivo or something special that other companies, CRISPR companies, are not doing. I mean, every company has sort of its niche, right? I mean, CRISPR Therapeutics obviously being the leader in CRISPR patients dosed. You have NTLA with obviously being the leader in vivo approach. You have Editas. Obviously, Editas is all over the place. They have their own issues, so I'm not going to comment on them. And then you have Beam Therapeutics, obviously, with base editors. You have Verve Therapeutics, obviously, with the cardiovascular diseases they're working on. So everybody has their own niche, but I think for this particular company, Caribou, I think honestly at this point, it's all about CB-010, right? This data that they're going to release this June is going to be the make or break for this company. I think if it comes out well below expectation, I do suspect this company will most likely never recover this year, in my opinion. They may recover in years to come. That's the worst case scenario, right? The best case scenario is they get average or better data, and I think it just shoots the stock right up front because they're worth like 600, 700 million market cap, I think, at this point. It's completely ridiculous, the valuation today. But again, the whole markets are crashed, and I mean, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm just going to stick with the fundamentals here. So great news, great press release. Let's see what happens. Again, if you're curious with CB-010 and whatnot, you can clearly read this paragraph here on the screen or go on their website. I'm going to end this video like this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about CB-010, this press release, and the news that we will potentially get in the month of June. Hopefully, we'll have a great story to tell about Chardonnay's technology. Thank you so much for watching and have a beautiful day. Thank you.